You have to wonder what happens when the most famous voice in the world suddenly goes quiet without a single word of explanation. For the better part of late 2025, the digital trail for Malakai Bayoh didn't just grow cold, it vanished. As a reporter covering the entertainment beat, I've seen stars fade, but rarely do they disappear at the height of their streaming dominance. In early 2026, the question, "Where is Malachi?" began trending not just as a fan inquiry, but as a genuine concern among industry insiders. There were whispers of a private health crisis or a family decision to pull him from the industry entirely to protect his mental well-being. This wasn't just a break. It felt like a calculated exit from a world that had become too demanding for a teenager. When a young artist who reached the top of the classical charts suddenly stops posting and cancels public appearances, the vacuum is quickly filled with speculation. Some suggested he had grown disillusioned with the circus of reality television, while others feared he had lost the very gift that made him a household name. The silence was so profound that it sparked a wave of tribute videos, with fans fearing the worst before any official statement was even considered. This mystery wasn't just about a singer. It was about the fragility of child stardom in the digital age. But as we dug deeper into the timeline, it became clear that the silence wasn't an ending. It was a shield. The pressure of being the boy who sang for the king had reached a breaking point, and the disappearance was the only way to ensure he didn't burn out before his 18th birthday. But just as the rumors reached a fever pitch, a new piece of evidence surfaced that changed the entire narrative. It's a moment that still haunts the archives of the Royal Opera House, the night a grown man decided to target a child in front of thousands. Long before the golden buzzer, Malachi faced an ordeal that would have broken most seasoned professionals. During his performance in Alcina, a heckler's voice rang out, aimed directly at the young boy. As a reporter, I've covered plenty of opening nights, but the vitriol directed at Malachi that evening was unprecedented. The fallout was immediate. The perpetrator was handed a lifetime ban, but the emotional scars were much harder to track. People often forget that behind the angelic label is a human being who had to process a public attack at an age when most kids are just trying to pass math class. This incident became a pivot point for his career, shifting him from a mere performer to a symbol of resilience. However, in 2026, new reports suggest that this event was the catalyst for the extreme privacy he maintains today. There are lingering questions about how that night changed his relationship with live audiences. Was the disappearance, in 2025, a delayed reaction to this early trauma? Sources close to the production at the time describe a young man who was incredibly brave on the outside but increasingly wary of the public's unpredictability. This wasn't just a bad review. It was a moment that exposed the dark underbelly of classical music fandom. The industry likes to pretend it's all about elegance and poise, but the Malachi heckling incident revealed a toxic layer that the singer has had to navigate ever since. It makes you realize that the fame came with a price tag that had nothing to do with money and everything to do with his peace of mind. And yet, this was only the beginning of the challenges he would face. There is a ticking clock in the life of every boy soprano that no amount of talent or training can ever hope to slow down. For Malachi, that clock struck midnight much sooner than many fans were ready to accept. By the time 2026 rolled around, the high notes that defined his career had become physically impossible to reach. This biological reality is often a career killer in the world of classical music, leading to what many call the silent year. Reporters in the music industry have been watching his register closely since the BGT finals, where the first signs of a vocal shift were caught on live television. This isn't just about hitting lower notes, it's about a total identity crisis. Imagine your entire brand, the golden voice, being tied to a physical state that is naturally disappearing. During his hiatus, there were rumors that he had undergone vocal repair, but the reality is much more natural and in some ways more difficult. He has had to relearn how to breathe, how to project, and how to find his new voice in a lower range. In 2026, the speculation is no longer about whether he can sing, but what he will sing. Will he emerge as a baritone, or will he find that the magic was tied only to his childhood? This transition period is notoriously dangerous for young artists. The pressure to perform while your body is changing can lead to permanent damage. It's been reported that he spent most of 2025 working with elite vocal coaches in total secrecy, refusing to record a single note until he felt he could do justice to his new sound. This period of vocal mourning is rarely talked about, but it's the reason we haven't seen a follow-up album to Golden just yet. But the transformation isn't just happening in his throat, it's happening in his career goals as well. While the music world was mourning the loss of his soprano range, Malachi was secretly rubbing shoulders with Hollywood's elite in a move that no one saw coming. We've confirmed that his involvement with the film Maestro was more than just a fleeting credit. It was a masterclass in how to transition from a reality star to a serious artist. Working under the direction of Bradley Cooper and the watchful eye of producers like Steven Spielberg, Malachi was exposed to a level of artistry that goes far beyond a 3-minute television segment. This has led to intense speculation in 2026 that Malachi is preparing to pivot into acting or film scoring. There are reports of him attending meetings in Los Angeles, leading many to believe that the "Where is he now?" answer might be found on a movie set rather than an opera stage. For a reporter, this is the classic rebranding move. If the voice changes, change the medium. He has expressed a deep interest in traveling and hosting, and his natural charisma on camera makes him a prime candidate for a youth correspondent or a documentary lead. The rumors of him being cast in an upcoming musical biopic have set the industry on fire, though his camp remains tight-lipped. This Hollywood connection gives him a safety net that most child singers never get. While others are discarded once their voice breaks, Malachi has built a network of the most powerful people in cinema. This isn't just a backup plan. It looks like a calculated move to become a multi-hyphenate star. However, the path to Hollywood is paved with its own set of shocking obstacles that could make the BGT stage look like child's play. Behind the scenes of the world's biggest talent shows, there is a complex web of contracts and emotions that the cameras never show, and Malachi's relationship with Simon Cowell is at the center of it all. In 2025, a series of viral reports suggested that Cowell was devastated by a situation involving Malachi, leading to a temporary rift between the mogul and the young singer's management. While some of these claims were exaggerated for clicks, our investigation reveals a grain of truth regarding a disagreement over Malachi's future direction. It's been suggested that Cowell wanted a more aggressive release schedule to capitalize on the Golden Album's success, while Malachi's family insisted on a total break for his education and vocal health. This behind-the-curtain drama is what often leads to the exposed headlines we see in the tabloids. In 2026, the relationship seems to have cooled, but the tension highlights the struggle for control over a young artist's career. There were even rumors that a major contract was nearly terminated during the silent months of 2025. As a news reporter, I've seen this play out dozens of times. The star maker wants results, while the star just wants to grow up. The unseen conflict here isn't about a lack of talent, but about the ethics of child stardom. Cowell has been vocal about Malachi being one of the best he's ever heard, but the emotional breakdown rumors suggest that even the toughest judges in the business are starting to realize the weight they put on these kids' shoulders. This conflict over his disappearance was likely the real reason for the radio silence, a legal and emotional tug-of-war that left the young singer in the middle. After years of speculation and missing person theories from the fans, we finally have a clear picture of what Malakai Bayoh's life looks like in 2026, and it's not what you might expect. Far from the glitz of Hollywood or the high-pressure world of Simon Cowell, Malachi has been spotted living a surprisingly grounded life in London. He is currently finishing his education at Cardinal Vaughan, a school known for its rigorous standards. Recent sightings at the prom spectacular have confirmed that he is indeed singing again, though the voice that emerges is deeper, richer, and more mature. He's no longer the boy treble in a sweater vest. He's a young man who has reclaimed his narrative. But the road hasn't been entirely smooth. He still faces intense scrutiny every time he steps outside, and the pressure to live up to his 13-year-old self is a constant shadow. He spends his free time like any other London teen, obsessing over Liverpool's latest matches and playing rugby, but with the added burden of being a household name. The shocking truth about his 2026 reality is that it's intentionally ordinary. He has rejected the child star trajectory of burnout and scandal, choosing instead a path of slow, deliberate growth. However, insiders suggest that this normalcy is just the calm before the storm. With a major project rumored for late 2026, Malachi isn't just back, he's evolving. The boy who once stopped the world with a single note is now a man who understands that his silence was the most powerful thing he could offer. He didn't just survive the transition, he mastered it. As we look at the trajectory of Malakai Bayoh, we're forced to ask a difficult question. Do we love the artist, or do we just love the innocence of a voice that we know cannot last? In 2026, Malachi has proven that he is more than just a viral moment or a golden buzzer winner. He is a survivor of an industry that often discards its young before they even reach adulthood. His story serves as a stark reminder that the angels we see on television are real people with changing bodies, private lives, and the right to step away when the pressure becomes too much. Whether he becomes the next great operatic baritone or a star of the silver screen, his silent year of 2025 will go down as the most important period of his life, the moment he chose himself over the applause. It's a rare victory in a world that usually demands everything from its stars until there's nothing left. As he moves into this new chapter, we should probably stop asking, "Where is he?" and start asking, "Who will he become next?" Because the answer is likely to be even more impressive than the boy we first met on that BGT stage.